We need to do the same for the second vertex. Just assign the curve controller and pick one of the curves and then say yes. Choose D2 for the dimension for the curve, but this time I need to shift the array one member to the end. Instead of this arc, I can get into this one. For that, you can go under parametric array link, and the option which is doing that is the lookup function. Instead of corresponding item, which is by default selected, you specify the index that you want to go for it. And to get into next curve, you should use the relative mod, and then you increase the index 1 value by 1. That means in first dimension, it goes to the one item after the corresponding item. We just update array, and this is how it works. All right, everything looks good. We shouldn't start the divisions on the curve from the start point, and we should finish it before the end point. And for that, you just need to go for both of the curve controllers and set the start offset and end offset to something like 5. It actually leaves the 5 divisions from end and 5 divisions from the start and gives you something like this. You can also switch to different units and use the percentage. The 100% means the full length of the curve. So you can say 10% from the start and 10% from the end. Or you can put it in actual units and say exactly how many meters or whatever is your scene unit and put that values in there. All right, we are done with the main frame. Actually, this is working right now. If I move my pad, I update the array, you can see that it's updating. Everything is fine. Even I can control the value of the projection. You just need to switch on the select and manipulate and see what happens. Okay. All right. The last thing is to create the actual geometry. We already have the pad. We just need to create the beams that is going to form the actual arch. For that, I still have my original arch, which I'm going to use it for a loft object. But before that, we need a couple of cross sections, and I'm going to use from extended splines white flange. Just draw one in viewport and copy it. This is going to make the bottom part, and for the middle part, which is the narrower, we just reduce that. All right, so let's go here and create our loft object. And we pick the first shape, which is the longer one, and it goes to the first point of the curve. Let's go to modify panel and set the pad parameter to 50% and choose the smaller cross section, and it goes to top. And again we go to the end of the loft and we set the shape again to the longer one. That's how we can get different thickness on the object. There are a few parameters you need to set before you go to array. If I switch on the edges, you can see I have so many edges across the shape, which I don't want it actually. So let's set the shape step to 0 because my shape contains the straight segments. And for the pad, I can go with more divisions, and we set it in 60 so it looks more smooth. Also, you don't need these adaptive path segments, and I think this is pretty much what you're looking for. The other settings for these shapes, we can do it even after you create the array. Alright, before we go and we array these elements, we need the controllers which we use for the reference curves. So select one of them and then bring the parametric array setting. Well, if you notice, it comes with this dialog and then asking which parallel 3D node you're looking for, because both arrays are referring to this object. One is actually holding this object, another is using this object inside the controller. I think this is the one, the first one. Yes, that's the 31 dimensional array. I'm just going to rename these controllers because I'm going to use the same controllers for the loft object. So let's go to the position and rename this to position curve controller. The other one was rotation, so I would call this rotation math controller. And there's another one under the gizmo Z position. I would say Xform Z position. Alright, that's it. Since you rename these, you can use them again in another array. So let's array this loft object, and we need 30 of this to match our curve array. Alright, I don't need the vertices, I just need the Xform modifier in there. So let's open these, and for the position, in order to get into the current controller which we made before, you need to choose the scene as the source of the controller library, and then in there you have to find your controller. You can even search here, so I'll search position. This is the curve controller which I used for position before. So I'm going to use the same controller for the position of the loft objects, since any changes on this controller should affect on both arrays, which is instance. So if I update now, you can see the controller works exactly the same as before. Now we need to rotate in the Z direction. So let's check the, what was it, Z rotation, or sorry, you have to put it in scene and rotation math controller. That was the rotation. We use instance and update. Now the loft object exactly following the curves. We need also to do it for Xform position. That was Xform, but this should go to Z position exactly. Here we go. Yes. Let me hide this one. All right. At the end, you can also change the sizes of the flange which we made for cross sections. For the width, both of them, I'm just gonna decrease it Oh, sorry, that's too much. I think that's good. Well, we're done. And see what happens if I change my pad. And I can update the array. Okay, to update the both arrays, you can just deselect and update all the parametric array nodes. Also for this, I can see when I change this and then update, it works perfectly. Alright, thanks for watching, and please don't hesitate to post your comments on the website, and if you have any question, post it on our forum. I shall make a video tutorial for that as soon as I can.